My name is Marcus Chen, and what I'm about to tell you happened to me in the fall of 2019. I've tried to forget it. I've tried therapy, medication, meditation. Nothing works. The nightmares still come. Every night at 3:17 a.m., I wake up in a cold sweat, listening for sounds in the walls. But now I live in a different city, in a different apartment, and the walls here are silent. Still, I listen. I'm sharing this story because I need to warn people, because what happened to me is still happening. Right now, as you hear this, someone else might be moving into that apartment. Someone who doesn't know. Someone who won't believe the warnings, just like I didn't. The memories haunt me every single night. It all started with a listing that seemed too good to be true. And it was.
It started in September 2019. I had just landed my dream job at a tech startup in Seattle, a senior developer position with equity and everything. I was 28, ambitious, and ready for a fresh start after a rough breakup in San Francisco. Finding an apartment in Seattle was brutal. Everything was either too expensive or too far from the office. I must have looked at 20 places, each one more depressing than the last. I was about to give up when I saw the listing, 4B Berkley Street. The rent was almost $600 below market rate. I called immediately. Mrs. Patterson answered on the first ring, like she'd been waiting by the phone. Her voice was thin, fragile, the kind of voice that shakes a little when the person is nervous. She agreed to show me the apartment that same afternoon. Something in her voice should have warned me, that tremor, that hesitation, but I was too excited to notice. The building itself should have been my first warning. It was one of those pre-war structures, all brick and iron fire escapes, built sometime in the 1920s. Beautiful in a Gothic sort of way, but there was something off about it. We took the elevator, an old cage-style lift that groaned and creaked. Mrs. Patterson didn't speak during the ride-up. She just stared at the floor numbers as they lit up. When we reached the 4th floor, she hesitated before pulling the gate open. Apartment 4B was at the end of the hall. The wallpaper was peeling, showing layers underneath. Different decades, different patterns. Mrs. Patterson fumbled with the keys, and I could swear I heard her whisper something under her breath. A prayer, maybe? Then she pushed the door open. The apartment was beautiful. Natural light flooded through the large windows. The hardwood floors gleamed. It was perfect. Too perfect for the price. I should have noticed how she stayed in the doorway the whole time, never stepping more than a foot into the apartment. I should have paid attention to how her eyes kept darting to the bathroom door. But I didn't. All I saw was hardwood floors and natural light, and rent I could actually afford. Everything looked immaculate, professional, perfect in every way. "I'll take it," I said. Mrs. Patterson's face went pale. "Don't you want to think about it?" she asked. But I didn't want to think. I wanted this apartment. I signed the lease that same day. I moved in that Saturday with help from 2 friends. We got everything set up. They made jokes about the building looking like it's from a horror movie. By evening, the apartment was starting to feel like home. Furniture in place, boxes unpacked, life beginning. They left around 8 p.m., and I was alone for the first time. Everything felt normal, good even. I ordered Thai food, unpacked a few more boxes, set up my laptop. I sat on my couch, eating pad thai and watching Netflix, feeling like my life was finally coming together. The first week passed without incident. I threw myself into work, coming home exhausted. The apartment was just a place to sleep. I barely noticed it. But as I was leaving after signing the lease, Mrs. Patterson caught my arm. Her grip was surprisingly strong. "If you experience anything unusual, please call me right away," she said. "Don't ignore it. If something happens, trust your instincts." I laughed it off. I should have listened. I should have asked what she meant. But I was too eager, too excited about my new life. I walked away, dismissing her warning as the paranoia of an old woman.
But on the 8th night, it was a Thursday, everything changed. I woke up suddenly at 3:17 a.m. The room was freezing. Not just cold, absolutely frigid. I could see my breath forming clouds in the air. I reached for my phone. The temperature read 41 degrees Fahrenheit. That didn't make sense. The heat was set to 68. There was no way the temperature could have dropped that much, that fast. I sat up in bed. That's when I noticed the silence. Complete, absolute silence. No traffic, no pipes, no refrigerator hum, nothing. It was like the entire world had been put on mute. The silence was wrong, oppressive, unnatural. Then I saw them. Wet footprints, small footprints, a child's footprints. They started at my bathroom door, trailed across the hallway, into my bedroom, and stopped right beside my bed, right where I'd been sleeping. The water was still glistening, still fresh, like whoever made them had just been standing there, watching me. I didn't sleep the rest of that night. I sat on my couch with every light in the apartment turned on, wrapped in blankets, trying to rationalize what I'd seen. The next morning, I ran into my neighbor, David from 4A. When I told him about the footprints, his face went pale. "Come have coffee with me." "Right now," he said. "We need to talk." David's apartment was cluttered with books, newspapers, and memories. The smell of old paper and coffee filled the air. He sat me down and pulled out a folder from a drawer. "How much do you want to know?" he asked. "Everything," I said, though part of me wanted to run. David opened the folder and pulled out a newspaper article from 2015. The headline read, "Tragic Discovery. Child found dead in apartment wall." A 6-year-old girl named Emma Walsh had lived in 4B with her single mother. Emma was in 1st grade. Bright, happy, loved. In October 2015, Emma had crawled into an access panel behind the bathroom sink, gotten stuck in the wall cavity. She'd been alive in there for almost 24 hours. She called for help that nobody could hear clearly. Emma Walsh died at 3:17 a.m. Cause of death: asphyxiation and hypothermia. A pipe had burst while she was trapped, flooding the cavity with cold water. 3:17 a.m. The exact time I woke up. The exact time the room froze. The exact time she died. David told me to leave, break the lease, take the financial hit, but I stayed. I calculated the costs it would set me back for years. For 2 weeks, nothing happened. I started to relax, to feel foolish. Maybe it was all in my head. But then, it happened again on a Wednesday night. I woke up at 3:17 a.m. The room was freezing. But this time, I heard something. Giggling. A child's giggle, high-pitched and playful, coming from inside the walls. The giggling moved, traveling along the wall at walking pace, heading toward my bed. Then I heard scratching. Frantic, desperate scratching inside the wall, right next to my headboard. "Emma?" I whispered. "Emma Walsh? Is that you?" The scratching intensified. It sounded like small fingernails clawing at plaster, trying to get out. The sound was horrible, rhythmic, persistent, filled with panic. The scratching stopped. Then, 3 deliberate knocks from inside the wall, right where my head had been on the pillow. She was answering me. I was done. I grabbed my laptop and sat at my kitchen table, searching for new apartments. I'd break the lease. I just needed to get out. That's when I heard my bathroom faucet turn on. The sound of running water was unmistakable. I didn't want to look. Every instinct screamed at me to leave, but I walked to that bathroom. Some horrible curiosity, some need to understand. The faucet was running full blast. The mirror was completely fogged up. Then words began to appear in the condensation. "Help me. I'm still here. It hurts." The shower curtain moved, not from a breeze. It moved like someone small was running their hand along it from behind. I ripped the curtain back. Nothing there, just an empty bathtub. But the tub was filling with water. The drain was closed, and water was pouring from the faucet. Then I saw something rising from the drain. A hand, a small, pale hand, reaching up through the drain. The hand grabbed the edge of the tub. An arm followed, a small shoulder. The hand was reaching toward me. I screamed, and I ran. I screamed, and I ran. I ran out of that bathroom, out of that apartment, down 4 flights of stairs, because I couldn't wait for the elevator, out of the building in my pajamas and bare feet. I ran down Berkley Street at 3:30 in the morning, not knowing where I was going, just knowing I had to get away. I ended up at an all-night diner 6 blocks away, shaking, unable to speak coherently. I sat there until sunrise. I called movers the same day. I paid triple rates for immediate service. They packed everything while I waited outside. One of them came out looking shaken. "Your bathroom. The tub is full of water, and there's writing on the mirror. It says, 'Don't go.'" I forfeited everything and broke the lease. Mrs. Patterson sent me threatening letters until I sent her a photo of the mirror. She never contacted me again. My deposit appeared in my bank account a week later. I found out later I was the 17th tenant to leave that apartment under mysterious circumstances. 17 people, all experienced the same things. 6 weeks after I left, a college student named Tyler moved in. He was 19, excited about his first apartment. David tried to warn him. I tried to warn him. He didn't believe in ghosts. 2 weeks later, Tyler moved out. Didn't pack, didn't take anything, just walked out and never came back. The apartment is currently occupied. A young couple moved in 3 weeks ago. They don't know yet, but they will. Because Emma Walsh is still there, still waiting, still drowning in that wall cavity over and over again at 3:17 every morning. The listing appears every few weeks. Beautiful apartment, affordable rent. Too good to be true. And the building still stands on Berkley Street, waiting, patient, eternal. If you're ever looking for an apartment in Seattle and you see a listing for 4B Berkley Street with rent that seems too good to be true, keep scrolling. Don't call. Don't visit. Don't let it be you.